Take your position. The show is about to start.
Ladies and gentlemen,
welcome to On Screen, where we discuss all things cinema all the time. Here's your hosts.
the award goes to
Joe Brunett, Joe Cuffney, and Jesse Reichenstein. Lights, camera, action.
So this week we are talking about the new rom-com film Marry Me.
Masterpiece.
But this is kind of like a running joke. It started out as a running joke, and then Jesse picked it.
Well, I had seen the trailer, and it might even be at the end of one episode. I was like, have you guys seen that trailer that just dropped? It looks insane.
I'm assuming you guys watch this on Peacock, because is it only on Peacock?
Yes, funny story about that, actually. So when we last got Peacock was when you picked Halloween back in October. And turns out we forgot that we still had Peacock. So we were like, oh, great, but also crap. It's just so many streaming services to manage.
It's crazy.
But yes.
Do you remember to cancel this time?
I'm supposed to remind D today.
Luckily, it's cheap.
Yes. But like, I'm rooting for Peacock. I'm rooting for everyone. That's a streaming thing, but there are way too many.
Agreed. Everyone's coming out with one.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous.
I think they need to start offering as an option, and this is the start of the on ideas section of this podcast, but they need to start having like a 1 month pass option, where rather than signing up for a subscription that just you'll forget about and then you'll regret later, buy it for 1 month, check out their stuff, and then that's it.
I mean, they do kind of have trials, don't they?
Yeah, they do, but then you have to go back to cancel. I'm just saying buy 1 month and then it just expires.
Yeah, where they do the really horrible one is where it's a trial, but you can't cancel it right away. Like if you cancel it right away, you just lose the access right away.
Yes. Yeah.
So you can't just cancel it to be oh, remember,
the worst.
Still get it. But I mean, this is what I do day to day, guys. I work for a company that's subscriptions suck. So
there you go. There you go. Let's get into Marry Me then.
Yeah.
All right.
Jess, you want to start us off since this was your pick?
Yeah, I'll just to start off, I will say, well, one, ended up picking this because it came up again. I thought this was the most insane trailer I've ever seen. And then Joe Brunett was like, hey, it's actually getting not bad reviews. And I was like, what? And then I did see that it was Rotten Tomatoes. It's critics was 60, but audience was 90 something. But I will say, well, one, it was better than I expected, but that bar is real low. And I do think it was probably executed the best it could have been for what it is. I'm still want to know the pitch meeting where they were here's the idea. It's so cliche but insane at the same time. They're J-Lo and Owen Wilson, and of course she's a superstar and he's just a teacher, and I mean of course it's always just a doofy guy gets a superstar girl. And then even Sarah Silverman being Owen Wilson's friend is insane. I love Sarah Silverman, but also it is insane also her role and character and for her to be cast. So everything about it is just absolutely crazy, but I think they did it as well as they could for how they set themselves up.
Yeah, I agree. I actually really liked their chemistry. I thought they actually did a really good job together. But
Joe's new favorite film?
New favorite film. No, I think this started off really strong. I was okay, I can get into this. It was different. It was it kind of just got into it. I feel it just hopped in. There was no BS kind of. It just was okay, this guy's a teacher, this girl's a pop star, get them together. And I think it started off really well for me. And then I think as it went on, it kind of plateaued for some things. Like, I don't know. I think they were a little like, I don't know. It was very choppy in places for me. I think it like went too quickly in some areas. I don't know, but I actually
you wish there was more.
Yeah, I wish there was more. Weirdly enough, it felt too short.
The Snyder cut.
Yep.
It was about, I think runtime, it was about 1 hour, 50 minutes or like 2 hours, right?
Yep.
I actually kind of liked the length.
Yeah.
What else do you think, Joe Cuffney?
So I actually, I didn't know much about this. I watched the trailer when you mentioned it, Jess, but like, I think I did enjoy this movie. This definitely is not like my typical type of movie, but I thought this was really good. I really liked the acting. I agree that the chemistry was like oddly good. But there was like, when I think of a romantic comedy, I usually think that they're heavier on the romance side and lighter on the comedy. And for this one, I found myself like not laughing at like corniness so much as like just how like wild something was. Like a good example would be like one of the opening scenes they had at the concert. They were doing this like religious based song where there were like sexy nuns in the background, and I'm just like watching them, and they're like not breaking, like, and I'm like, this has to be meant to be a joke, right? and like, but I feel like there was just like a lot of like kind of like outlandish moments like that, but also mixed in with like really like sweet, nice moments. So yeah, I mean, it was, I feel like it was heavier on the comedy, but like in a good way. So I definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah. Owen Wilson's like, he as a character didn't really have much comedy. He was kind of just like which I kind of really loved. I loved him in this role. He kind of fit really well. Jesse, did you like him because he was a math guy?
No, well, I was going to bring up that I feel like this is common in movies that have like math teams, or mathalons. I'd love to know if somebody ever had mathalons like this, because like I was on the math team. I was captain of the math team, and it did not look like this. Like, it was way less people cared than this. And it wasn't so like spelling bee debate. You like, I've always just wondered how, like, you know, in movies, like there's like trivia teams or math teams or like debate clubs, and it's always like so polished and on a stage and buzzing in and stuff. And I'm like, does this really exist? And we just,
it must be somewhere. Like, it has to be, that has to exist somewhere. I mean, yeah. I could see it not existing where we're from because it's such a small town, but like New York City, I feel like has to have something like that.
Yeah, we'll dig in to find out, but
yeah,
I'll be honest, it didn't help. I mean, math's cool, but I've never like, maybe it's because I never wanted to be a math teacher, that like anytime it's just like math in school, I'm like,
I did have something that stuck out to me was the very beginning when she like basically the first concert where Owen Wilson's in the audience with the sign and she like sees it when like she breaks down during the concert and like starts talking, you know, after she finds out about this, her husband or whatever, her fiance, when she's like talking and kind of giving a heartfelt speech, like you can hear people talking. You can hear a lot of people talking. I was like, if you're in like a superstar's concert, you're going to like be dialed in and listening to this person. You won't just be chit chatting throughout their you know, like if there's this person, such a big star that people love, like you're not going to go to like an Ariana Grande concert and talk through her speech. Like
that's what
I mean. I agree with you, but I've been to concerts where people are literally like not paying attention to the concert and it doesn't make any sense to me, but yeah, it does happen.
That's so weird to me though.
I know. I agree.
It's very strange.
I was going to say there was one other item like that in the movie that I don't think was an overthought because it probably was intentional, right? It's just like, I just don't agree with that cause. After she flew back and she's on the plane, you know, and she's like, who will let me buy their jacket off of them?
Mm-hmm.
And then it shows her out of the airport and she's wearing a Canada Goose jacket, like a super fancy, expensive, what a superstar would wear. Right. And I was like, oh, I just so wish they had her in like some really like weird,
like worn
jacket
out
that
jacket.
that she actually had bought off somebody on the plane, and it's kind of a
Right.
piece of trash, and it's kind of funny that she's wearing it instead of like the Canada Goose. But like that was just one
Yeah.
thing that I was like, I don't think it was probably overlooked, but I just so wish they like committed to that buying a jacket.
Well, that's so true because like they were trying to normalize her, right? And like this doesn't really attribute to that. It's almost like it's bringing her back to her pop starness, and it doesn't really make sense.
And
But-
it'd be good contrast of like she's still like in her dress and heels and stuff, but has this like, I don't know what I don't know what clothing company I want to take a shot at and say it's their jacket, but
one of my favorite quotes from this movie was when the paparazzi, when they like first got together, paparazzi was like, "How do you feel about her being much hotter than you?"
Yeah.
I just like how he just took it and ran with it. Like he wasn't like, there wasn't really any drama in this. I feel like with him and her, there was like a little bit, but it wasn't like I'm glad because a lot of it's predictable, you know, where it's like, oh, they're going to fall in love, you know, break up and they're get back together. Like this was like a little better because it was a little different.
I was kind of waiting for it to follow that formula because
Right.
they all do. And I feel like the breakup part, like, wasn't so much of a breakup as him just being like, no, yeah, I get this, but like, I'm kind of done with it. But like, I don't know. It didn't feel quite like oh no, but like, what's going to happen?
Right.
You're going to get back together. Like, it was kind of just like, oh, like maybe this is going to have like a less of a happy ending, but like, you know, more of an amenable ending instead. But I don't know. It did feel a little off because it didn't go from this like great high to this big low, that back to big high. You know,
I hate that because that just happens in everything.
Mhm.
So I like when movies break that mold, but
Yeah.
there
I
was
wouldn't say this
something
broke it in a huge way, but just a little bit.
little bit. I mean,
just
yeah, enough. Yeah.
I do think it's crazy when, well, one, I'll mention too, I always don't like late night shows on movies and
neither.
TV shows.
Yeah.
Like those late night hosts are really good, but not when they play themselves. Like when they have to play themselves doing a show, it always feels weird to me.
Weird. Yeah.
I actually wanted to ask you guys about the so I know that we have strong opinions about text message bubbles in movies, but like what about like live like phone crops next to like what they did in this movie? Like what did you guys think about that? Garbage? Absolute garbage.
That's all I was thinking about when I was watching it. Is like, Joe's gotta hate this.
That's kind of, I was curious. I was like, I mean, it's a little different, but not really.
I think it can work. You can make it work in certain things, but not in like a movie like this. Like we've used it for like hype edits for the Wild and stuff. And I think it works in certain ways, like if it's quick, but I think this was like overused, but also underused because they would show the live screen on for like 3 seconds and then cut. Like didn't make any sense. And there was like two phone, like, I don't know.
The worst one that I hated actually was when at the end when she wrote "On My Way," and it was like her in the studio, and it had a kind of a phone screen of it climbing the charts slowly, and I was like, "What are we climbing the?" Like I get kind of what was trying to be done there, but like we're watching the song climb the charts. Like
how would so they're trying to just like illustrate that this song is gaining popularity, right? Like how would you do that without that?
You could show videos of people, you could show like news clippings, you could show like numbers on a chart, like kind of like going
up. But I feel like you could, I just think like, I think you could just like have some reference to it being number one. I don't know if you need it to be gaining, like it feels like when songs come out, it's like if they're big, they're just kind of one. It's not like, oh, they're sitting at 6 for 2 weeks and then they're at 5 for 2 weeks and then they're at like 3. It just feels way more instant than that.
Or you could just say it, be like, hey, this is the number one on the charts. Like, you know, or like, because
like, so you're saying maybe it's not so much of a storytelling element.
Yeah, I just don't think
it doesn't benefit the story in any way, in my opinion. Like you know, this is a number one song based on how they're portraying it already. Like this girl is like the most popular pop star ever. And like, this is clearly the number one track. Like
it's just like okay. I mean, also my favorite, anyone want to guess my favorite part of the movie? I hope you guys noticed this. It's like not even a part of a movie. It's just hilarious to me.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
When I don't even remember what they're in the classroom. Maybe it's right after he got on social media or something, and they built him a website.
Oh,
And the kid goes, "Yeah, I built your website on Wix.com." And like holds up the phone, and I was like, "That is the craziest product placement." Like, Wix, obviously, like that was a deal because that was insane. It wasn't even like slowly put in anywhere. It's just like, I built you a site on Wix.com. It's like, poor Wix, they're really struggling right at this point, I'm assuming. But I love.
They did have a lot of. I agree that one was like egregiously, obvious now that you mention it. But there was like they even the whole juicing thing and like,
yeah. It kind of felt like a YouTube video, but like a YouTube feature film.
Yeah, but like the fact that they were taking time and like, I get what they were trying to do, but it's just like, why are we spending movie time showing her promoting a juicing product? Like, we understand she has deals. We don't need to see it.
It's ads without ads.
Yeah,
that's
right.
That's another thing. Like, a lot. I mean, I like to watch movies because I want to like escape reality. This movie is like I'm watching the news or something. Like, this is like. This is just like it's Instagram live, it's YouTube videos, it's making a website, making an Instagram. It's like people do that shit every day. Like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah,
it is. One other note I wrote down, on the math team, the kid from Mighty Ducks,
I saw that. Yep,
is in it. Yeah, I was like, oh, is that him?
That's him.
And before I forget, that I sent you guys before we recorded that video, the guy who plays the other team's math coach, UTK, all I think of him in is that 2009 College Humor video, where he's like freestyling, which I was gonna say maybe beginning of his career. He was in Love Style Supreme, like at the time with Lynn, but I'd say everyone like outside of the Broadway world didn't even know Lynn in 2009. So like, I don't know, but like that, he pops up all over the place. I think he's hilarious. But still, anytime I pop up, instantly like think of that. The video's ingrained in my head, like all the words. It was like one of the first, like big videos I loved.
That's hilarious. I didn't even think about that because I wasn't a huge College Humor person. I mean, I would watch it at your house, but I would never have made that connection ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's I never think of watching it a ton, but like every time someone from College Humor pops up in something, it always like I think back to it.
Yeah, that was a funny aspect.
It's a good like time capsule of then. Like, I mean, I don't know if College Humor is still a thing or not, to be honest, but
I think it is actually.
Okay, good
it's
for
not,
them.
I don't think it is what it is, but
I feel like that is almost like a timepiece of, I don't know, whenever that was a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, I might have missed this part or not, but when she surprised him at the amusement park, what was that? Like, does he love amusement parks? What was that?
I think it was a reference because earlier on, they were talking about that Ferris wheel in the context of him and his mom.
Okay.
I think that's why. But it's funny because I feel like there was at least one thing where D, like, because I was watching this with D, and she was like, "This is going to happen next," and I was like, "What?" And apparently something was just like super obvious to her that was just like way over my head. And I feel like that was another one of those things that you're like, I have no idea why we're at this amusement park.
Right. It's so weird.
But I laughed because I totally had one of those. I can't remember exactly the example, but where I was like, how did you know that was going to happen?
Right. Like, you missed one piece of dialogue. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
I'm like, shit.
Yeah, I was the same. I just assumed, like, we saw that and I was like, he must have said a story about him being fun with his daughter when the mom, like, like it must have been one of those. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I guess we're here.
That's something I think one of the things that I didn't like about it is I wish there was more, like how I mentioned earlier that they kind of just jumped into the story. Like I wish we had more Owen Wilson backstory. Like I wanted to, like I cared about him, but I feel like if I got more story with him and his daughter and him as like ex-wife or whatever, I feel like I would have liked him even more and kind of cared about him. Cause like throughout I was like, he's like a nice dude and I hope for the best for him, but like, I don't really care about him that much, you know?
Yeah. I don't know.
I guess it was
I feel
about her
like-
though.
Yeah, I
Wasn't
don't know.
really
I actually kind of disagree because I feel like everyone was rooting for him because he was the one who was in the situation like that probably everyone would have liked to be in, right?
That's true. Yeah.
But then again, like once he like kind of broke things off for a second there, and like I don't know, I feel like then you're like, no, screw this guy, you know. So I agree and disagree.
I could be overthinking this, but maybe they did that because they wanted the viewer to kind of see it how the general population sees it, where we don't know much about this guy, but we're learning about him through social media via this pop star. So maybe that's what they were trying to do, but that could be way over their heads or my head. So who knows?
I don't know. I'm sure we could go way too deep into this, but
Yep.
yeah. So in terms of locations, do we have? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, it's New York City. So it's all New York
But
City.
what about this place in Indiana? Is that right? Where was the math?
Oh, that was in
Illinois.
what? I don't
Or
think it was
Indiana?
actually shot in Indiana.
Peoria, maybe, or something.
Peoria. That was
Maybe
but that was
Peoria.
that's what they said. I don't know if that's actually where it was shot.
I actually couldn't find that one. I was like looking because like I wrote a bunch of New York City, like Madison Square Garden was like the last one, and then Radio City Music Hall, the Plaza Hotel, just like a bunch of random New York City spots. And then the sequence where Kat responds to the "Marry Me" sign, like the very beginning, was at the Hammerstein Ballroom in Manhattan Center. So we could go reenact that scene.
You're gonna put on that dress.
Yep, I'll wear the dress.
Okay.
Okay. Also, that venue looked small to me.
I agree.
For
I
how
thought
big
this
of a
was-
star she is.
when they said that this was going to be like 20 million plus people, like obviously that's not all in one place, but
Right.
I did think that would at least mean it's like MSG or something.
And that's what they did at the end, but they should have done that, you know, maybe not at MSG, but something similar to that throughout. Cause yeah.
I wonder.
I mean-
Yeah, I mean, there was a weird thing though, right? Of like they were trying to say she was a huge pop star at the beginning, but like also part of the story was she was like becoming even bigger. Like when Sebastian, you know, was like, we're like nominated or something. She's like, this is huge for my career, and like couldn't, you know. So it was like weird. I feel like maybe they were trying to like show her becoming bigger through that.
Maybe,
Even
like,
though
I
she
think
was
that's
supposed to
I think
be.
that's why the whole thing felt disingenuous to me, is because
Right.
like I feel like you were shown that she was like a good person and that she was this huge pop star. So like, why does she feel that she needs this? You know what I
Right.
mean? I think that's the part I struggled with
That's
that
true.
like
Yeah.
breakup part, because the justification didn't seem very good.
Right. Yeah.
But, I don't-
Yeah. That's a little confusing. I get that. I'm getting like Olivia Rodrigo vibes kind of, because she's like a pop star right now, like a huge pop star, obviously, but like she's still kind of getting that fame, you know, like she would probably play like a venue like this, I could see, but also playing a big venue like MSG.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Like you can't be an A-list pop star
No.
and then like have like MSG be like, I don't know.
Right,
You're
right.
you're a B-list if you're not. I
Right.
don't know who needs to hear this, but
A little trivia on the locations actually, because this was shot during COVID, but Jennifer Lopez and Maluma, who plays Bastion, they used a Zoom call to complete filming for a couple scenes in their respective homes in Miami and Colombia. So apparently they shot some
Whoa.
scenes via Zoom together.
That's
I don't
pretty
know.
crazy.
Yeah, I don't know which ones, but
how that?
like I assume they were like the director was on Zoom or something, and they were
But like to
shooting.
practice or to
to
actually
shoot, actually shoot. Like I sure they had a couple camera people in there, but yeah, apparently they shot it because COVID, you couldn't get together. So
Oh, interesting.
yeah. Speaking of that, this was supposed to come out like last February.
Whoa.
Yeah, because I don't know what happened, COVID, I guess, but it's just a bizarre movie. But
I
it was
do.
better than I thought it was gonna
But
be.
if it was fun though. Yeah.
Like
No.
I don't know.
Do
I
we
don't know
want
how
to
to
rate
rewatch
it?
it, but it's based on something, isn't it? Or no?
Dude,
Based on
you
my
know
life.
me and based on true stories. I don't know.
It's on. Yeah, it's based on. Oh, here we go. Based on the graphic novel of the same name by Bobby Crosby.
Okay.
So it is based on something, which is very weird because I don't know. Love it's a fun story though. I mean, you can't not love J Lo and or Owen Wilson. So
Yeah. What would you guys rate this?
I'll kick off. I will give it props again because I do love anytime I feel like the people behind this movie, if they told me before they started the movie, they're like, here's the movie, I'd be like, yeah, right. Good luck with that, which I kind of did after seeing the trailer. And then after they could be like, I told you. So props to them. I'll go. We'll go 7.5.
whoa, it's a high rating.
7.5. Wix.com ads. I would love it in the middle. I want it to be like, all right, guys, we just got to take a quick ad break. Wix.com if you ever wanted to build a website.
No, you don't even see ad break though. You said I just got to check this website right now, done by Wix,
Wix.com.
not Squarespace, using an Apple MacBook Pro.
I should have like printed out Wix things in the background.
That would actually be fun.
We'll go 7.5. Wix websites.
That's higher than I thought you were going to give it.
I feel like just because most of it is because the bar was so low and they did such a good job at like what they put themselves in an insane situation. So I'm like, let's give them props for that.
All right. Joe, you want to go?
Sure. I kind of feel much the same. Like I feel like the ceiling for this type of movie is not very high for me, but this definitely exceeded what I thought it was going to be. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a solid 8.
Whoa, you guys, this is
8. Do 8 dogs. I like the dog.
The dog.
What's his name?
There you go.
Frank or something?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's forgotten.
I mean, again, I will say these are I feel like I just also love times where I pick movies thinking they'll be insanely bad, and then we get on the call and we're like, it was pretty good.
Not bad.
It was
Not bad. Yeah. I mean, also I like watching movies that none of us have seen because none of us have an opinion on it already. So it's always nice to have that. All right, for me, let's see. I like the acting. It's to me, like I said, it started off really strong for me. Like when I was watching this, I thought this was like, oh, this is an 8. This is gonna be an 8-ish for me. How it started, I was like, oh, this is great, like a 7-8.
This is great.
Solid
A
movie.
7-8.
Yeah, dude. I think 7s are great to me. I think anything 5 up is good for me. Is like a good movie.
Okay.
We should
I mean, if I could
quantify our rating metrics because
Yeah,
Let's say if I give
something
something a 5, it's pretty like, whoa.
See, 5 for me is like good enough. I'm not gonna love it, but it's okay. Like it's
When do you
fine.
get bad? When do you?
Well, this perfect segue. I'm giving this a 5. This is like
Okay.
like it was fine. It was good. It was better than I thought. Probably not gonna rewatch it. I thought Owen Wilson and J-Lo did a really good job. I thought it was for what it is, like not much to it. So it was they held their own, which was nice. I'm always gonna knock it down for the screen on screen thing. That just always throws me for a loop. Yeah, I mean, I think it started off like that, and then as the movie went up, as the movie kept going, my rating went down because it got like choppy and more just confusing for me later on. But yeah, I don't know. It was like I would recommend this to like rom-com fans though, for sure.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite genre, like you, Joe. That's not like the ceiling's not super high for these types of movies.
Yeah, I feel like it's like if it's put like I would rarely pick this, but if it's on,
yeah. If it's on TV,
it's not like
it.
I'm gonna like not try to enjoy it, you know?
Right. And if you're looking for like a rom-com to watch with your friends or something, this would be perfect. Like this is a fun movie to watch with your friends and like just
Fun, funny.
Yeah. And the musical aspect's really fun. I love anything with music. I'm gonna watch. So.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, that was great. All right. Marry Me. Marry Me. Although the song didn't get stuck in my head, which I was kind of surprised about.
It didn't until we got on this call and Joe like kind of hummed it for a second. And then I was like, all right.
No, it's the sort of thing where I don't want it to get stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Do you think that was made for the movie? Or was that like a single shared you had?
I feel like that's
made
the movie.
Yeah.
Did you know? I read this. Apparently, "Marry Me" the song or movie is the Jennifer Lopez's first movie to sing a song live using her own voice.
Huh.
So
interesting.
Thought that was interesting. "Marry Me's" got it. That's what she was going for. She's like, "Marry Me's gonna be that movie." Oh yeah, then like the cheese factor for me, I think it was like it started off not really cheesy, and then just like it just kind of hit like a fan. The cheese just hit the fan, and then it grated everywhere.
I think that's a great analogy, as well as a very descriptive way of describing the amount of cheesiness in anything. Really, I might start using that for like tacos and.
Love it.
Man, I'm just picturing someone chucking blocks of cheese into like a wood chipper.
Exactly, and then just.
I agree though. I think it did get more cheesy as it went on, but I think it could have been worse. I think it could have been way worse. I think it could have been way more cheesy.
I think because these characters were so likable that you didn't. I mean, I didn't mind it that much because the characters were likable. So
yeah.
Who knows?
Cool.
Should we get into news?
Let's get into news.
See, we watched The Kingsman yesterday, the new Kingsman movie. I don't know if you guys have
Is
seen
that
it.
the like Secret Service, like British Secret Service? Was it good?
So The Kingsman's like a prequel. It's like the first two are like basically going after each other, and this one's like how it started. The Kingsman kind of started. It was okay. I don't know. They're like fun movies to. If you like action movies, like fun action movies, you would love these movies. Like if you haven't seen these, Joe, I feel like you would dig these.
I've seen the first one.
They're pretty gory, but it's like entertaining. It's kind of like Shaun of the Dead vibes, but like less horror. It was fine. It wasn't as good as the other two, but I don't know. It was fun. And then let's see. Ooh, the new Texas Chainsaw movie came out on Netflix. It is exactly what I expected it to be. So
it's not the original person anymore doing those, right?
Doing what?
The Texas Chainsaw movies.
Like director or actor? Or...
Yeah, director. I don't know.
Tobe Hooper. No, he died a few years back. But this was like a
guy. Wasn't it Texas Chainsaw? Like one of the. I don't know if he was just a producer, but like he then was the creator of The Bachelor.
I'm really curious now.
I've brought this up before that the creator of The Bachelor was like.
Was it Tobe Hooper?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna lose my mind.
Something.
Oh,
I
Bob
just always thought
Guinea.
it was.
He's a television personality. Oh, he was a contestant. Oh wait, hold on. Contestant on the first season of The Bachelorette. Nah. I don't know. I'm not finding actually. That might be not the right guy. I don't know.
No, I'll look for a second.
I'm really curious about that though. But yeah, it was just exactly.
I think it's Mike Fleece, right?
There was just this scene that it was like a bus scene. Like some of the kills were fun, but it was just all over the place. This Leatherface walks onto a bus, like a party bus, and all these kids are in the back. And this guy holds up his phone and he says, "You do anything, you're canceled, bro." And then he does a chainsaw and just like cuts him in half. I'm like, what the hell is this?
It's a political statement.
Literally.
I think it's Mike Fleece who I'm thinking of. Mike Fleece, Fleiss, who was just a producer on Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning of 2006.
The original Texas Chainsaw?
No, probably not. I don't know. I knew it had something to do with Texas Chainsaw. I think it started in 2003. Just because I always thought it was funny that like the guy tied to The Bachelor producing it was also like he's produced like Hostel.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The Texas Chainsaw.
Wait, you're totally right. Wait, that's hilarious. Oh my God, he's a producer. Yeah, what? That is insane. Weirdest connection ever. Stranger Things season 4 comes out in May. Well, first part, they're splitting into 2 parts. So that'll be very interesting. And they posted that they're gonna be done with season 5. So that'll be
like season 5 will be the last season.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which I think is smart. But it's weird, dude. The kids are like 20 now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They started when they were 13. Now it's like, what?
That's the problem with, long lasting series that involve kids. They don't stop growing.
Exactly. But yeah, it's kind of what we've been watching. So, or I've
I
been
just
watching.
watched through a bunch of the Pam and Tommy, that Hulu series, like of Seth Rogen's.
How is that?
It's honest. I don't love it. I mean, it's like kind of well done, but it's one of those things where I'm like, how is this a whole season? Like, it feels like it should be like
I thought it was a movie.
2 episodes, or yeah, like I watched through like I think 5 episodes have been out, and I kind of just like let them play, like I don't know, like for 2 nights or something. That's just kind of like what was on, and I just kept being like, how am I 5 episodes in, and just like stuff has happened, but like not 5 episodes worth.
I don't even know, like, what is it even about? I'm not familiar with the story.
I wasn't actually as familiar. Like, I didn't realize, like, it's interesting. I didn't realize any of this. That I'm assuming this is pretty close to as true, but I don't know. But it's like they had their sex tape, which was the like first one that kind of like was distributed on the internet, because it was in like the mid 90s. But it was like stolen by like Seth Rogen plays the like contractor who Tommy Lee like kind of screws over, and then to like get back at him, he like breaks in and steals a bunch of stuff from his house, and then like happens to find the tape and stuff he steals. And so he's there like trying to sell it, but no one will take it. And then like the internet's just starting, so they like figure out a way to start promoting it or like selling it through the internet. And it just goes through all these cases of like Pam and Tommy like suing people, and like Pam's on Baywatch at the time, and it's like she's really worried about what it's doing to her career. And like it's more interesting than I thought. Like I never even knew there was this backstory. But again, like everyone in the show, like it's done really well. It's like kind of cool, but again, it's just like I don't know how there's a whole season of this.
Yeah,
I don't.
It's like repetitive, I bet.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. It just, again, you like get through an episode and you're like, I think they're hour even episodes maybe, and it's like I feel like that could have been 20 minutes, like a good 20 minutes. So
simple solution: just don't make a sex tape.
Yeah,
can't be that hard.
The only movie news I have really is that I finished watching Ted Lasso, and I feel like I liked season 2 as much, if not more, than season 1. So,
whoa,
which I feel like is a slightly hot take.
Hot take.
People weren't loving the second season as much.
I didn't finish the second season.
I'm also way late to the game here, so I don't know. But
hey, that's all right.
I do. My mom was she like wrote off the second season this because they start it and they basically kill a dog right at the beginning. She was just like, nope, I'm done. And I was like, no, they'll like, come on, it's gonna be for a reason. And she's like, nope.
I'm not gonna lie, that was a very that, and I'm not spoiling anything if I talk about it, am I?
I mean, I've seen it.
I mean, I don't. I'm not gonna watch it. So
okay.
Watch.
So they did address that, which I was happy with it because that was very confusing, and I was like, wow, why would you do that? But then the most random thing, but I actually oddly like really like it, is like I feel like they were starting to like do like a character like deep dive on each character at some point in the season. And when they did the one on Coach Beard, that was so random. but I loved it. I loved it.
Where they like follow him around.
Yeah, he has like a wild night out and then it's just like, back at work the next day as if nothing happened, which is exactly what I would have expected out of him, because I feel like never really, like, I feel like there's not much to his character. So I love that they did that.
Right.
Yeah,
But-
it's good. Ted Lasso does such a good job though of like dealing with, I mean, not Coach Beard part, but like with the dog and stuff. Like not specifically that, but they deal with hard issues really well. Like it's like a hilarious show, but it's like also really like heartwarming and like actually kind of addresses some hard things.
That's the part that I feel like I'm walking away with, is like, this show makes me happy. And I feel like very rarely do I watch something and I'm like, that made me happy.
Right.
It's
And
usually
not
like, wow, that made me feel gross. Or,
Yeah.
Yeah, and not a happy because it's like I don't have to think about any of the bad things, but it's like this is real, but you can still like this is how you deal with it. And you're like, oh,
That's what I loved about the first season. I was like, there was like one thing that happened, like when he got mad at, like very briefly, but right. There was like no downfall.
Yeah.
So I love that aspect of it.
props to Ted Lasso.
I know. I gotta rewatch that first season.
You literally 30 seconds ago, you're like, I'm not gonna watch that.
No, the second season.
I know the second season, and you're like, I gotta rewatch the first
Gotta rewatch the
season.
first season. The second season, I got like 2 episodes in. I'm like, no.
You gotta keep going though. It honestly, I would agree that like the first 2, I don't even know if it was 3 episodes, are not as good.
Yeah.
Like
it
it
didn't hit. Everything
it
felt
gets
forced.
it gets itself back by the end. It
Alright.
does. So don't rewatch the first like 3, but like just pick it up on like episode 4.
I can do that.
Oh, also, have you guys seen Search Party?
No, what's that?
Just check it out. I don't even want to spoil
Don't tell
anything.
anything. I just want to be.
You gotta
surprised.
check it.
All
Just
right.
check it out. You're gonna love it.
All right, that works for me.
Next trip we're on, I'm just forcing you to watch
I mean, it's worked before. So
5 seasons of a show.
I'm into it. All right. Is that a wrap for this guy?
It might be a
I
wrap.
think that's a wrap. Rip rap.